Today, we're diving into a huge problem facing our courtrooms. It's this massive and honestly kind of messy collision between our always-on 24/7 world and the very old, very important idea of a fair trial.
So, to really get to the heart of this, we've got to start with the person at the very center of it all, the juror, because they're facing a temptation that just didn't exist a few decades ago.
All right, I want you to picture it. You've been picked for jury duty. You're sitting there listening to a pretty serious case. The second the judge calls for a break, what is the very first thing you're itching to do?
Yeah, if your first thought was to whip out your phone, you are definitely not alone. It's almost a reflex for us now, this urge to just check. You want to Google the person on trial, see if there are any old news stories, maybe even check out their Facebook profile. It feels totally natural, but that one little instinct, well, that's the core of the entire problem.
And this is where things get really serious. That simple act of just checking online actually puts the whole concept of justice itself on trial. It threatens the very foundation of how our legal system is supposed to work.
So, let's talk about something called inadmissible evidence. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. Courts go to great lengths to keep certain bits of information away from the jury. The classic example? A defendant's criminal record. And why is that? Because if you know someone has committed a crime before, it might unfairly color your judgment in this case. The verdict has to be based only on the evidence you see and hear in that courtroom. Period.
And this right here shows you the problem perfectly. It's like there are two different courtrooms. On the left, you've got the official one. It's controlled, it's sealed, information is carefully filtered. But on the right, you've got the courtroom of the internet. And that place is a total free-for-all, filled with everything from old criminal records and biased news reports to just plain wrong rumors. The second a juror steps into that online space, the whole process is compromised.
So make no mistake, this is a huge deal. It's not some minor technicality. As Associate Professor Mark Nolan puts it, when a juror brings that outside info into the jury room, it introduces inherent injustices and illegalities. It literally breaks the system.
And this isn't just a theoretical what-if scenario. Let's look at some real-life cases where one little search online completely threw justice off the rails.
Now, to be fair, jurors going rogue is not a new thing. There have always been some strange cases of misconduct. But the thing that's different today, the real game changer, is the tool, the smartphone that's in every single juror's pocket. It's made getting that forbidden information easier and faster than ever.
Just look at how this has evolved. Back in the 90s, the big weird story was an English jury trying to contact the other side with a Ouija board. It's wild, right? But then, fast forward, 2014, a whole murder trial in Queensland has to be stopped because a juror was doing their own research on Facebook. And just 2 years later, a juror in Western Australia gets kicked off for posting about the case. The problem went from the supernatural to the smartphone.
And here's the really scary part. What we know about is probably just the tip of the iceberg. As defense barrister James Lawton says, a lot of this likely happens without anyone ever finding out. I mean, think about it. If a juror just does a quick Google search at home and keeps their mouth shut, how would anybody know? The real problem is probably way bigger than we realize.
So you're probably wondering, what is the legal system actually doing about all of this? Well, as you can imagine, the law is trying to fight back, putting rules and punishments in place to try and keep jurors focused on the courtroom, not their keyboards.
In Australia, for instance, several states have taken this really seriously. You can see here that major states like Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria have all passed specific laws to punish jurors who decide to do their own online detective work.
But laws are just one piece of the puzzle. The very first, and maybe the most important, line of defense is the judge. Pretty much all the experts agree that a really stern, really clear warning right at the beginning of the trial is the best weapon we have. The judge has to lay it all out, what the rules are and what the serious consequences are for breaking them. And that can even include jail time.
But here's a bigger question. What if just punishing people isn't enough? Maybe we need to look at some bigger ideas for reforming the jury system itself to make it work in our modern world.
I mean, the argument here is that you can't really win a fight against basic human curiosity, right? Especially when the tool to satisfy that curiosity is sitting in our pocket all day. So instead of only punishing people, a lot of legal experts think the system itself has to change and adapt.
And there are a couple of fascinating ideas floating around. The first one is, what if we gave jurors an official, safe way to ask their questions? You could have a controlled, in-house database where they could get approved information that could satisfy their curiosity without them going down a Google rabbit hole. The second idea, maybe a bit more radical, is for some really sensitive cases, maybe let the defendant choose to be tried by a judge alone. No jury means no risk of a juror doing their own online research.
When you boil it all down, this whole thing is a really delicate balancing act. On one side, you have our right as a public to information and that modern instinct to know everything right now. And on the other, you have a person's absolute fundamental right to a fair trial based only on the facts presented in court.
And all of this leaves us with one final and really critical question. You know that iconic image of justice, the blindfolded figure who is supposed to be impartial and unbiased? Well, in a world that is always connected and never, ever logs off, how in the world do we make sure that blindfold stays on?